Silence is not emptiness. It is protection. When you choose to work hard in silence, you are choosing to protect your focus, your energy, and your vision from unnecessary interference. Most people don't realize how much power they leak every single day by talking too much, explaining too early, and seeking validation before results exist. Every conversation that tries to justify your path, every argument that tries to convince someone of your potential, every announcement made before discipline is established pulls energy away from execution. Silence gathers that energy and directs it inward, where real work happens. Focus is fragile. It cannot survive constant noise. Opinions, comparisons, doubts, and distractions all compete for your attention. Silence removes that competition. It gives your mind the space to think clearly and your nervous system the calm it needs to perform at a high level. When you stop broadcasting your intentions, you stop feeling the pressure to perform for others and start performing for yourself. That shift alone can change the trajectory of your life. You stop chasing reactions and start building momentum. Working in silence forces you to confront yourself. Without applause, without encouragement, without external motivation, you are left alone with your commitment. This is where discipline is either strengthened or exposed. Silence reveals whether you are driven by purpose or by praise. Many people appear ambitious when they are being watched, but disappear when no one is paying attention. Silent work removes the audience and leaves only the work. And that is where real growth begins. Results do not need explanations. Explanations are for insecurity. When you are deeply committed to your process, you don't feel the urge to defend it. You don't need to convince others because you are too busy convincing yourself through action. Talking about goals can feel productive, but it often becomes a substitute for progress. The brain releases a sense of satisfaction simply by declaring intention, which reduces the urgency to follow through. Silence keeps the hunger alive. It keeps the pressure on execution. People who understand this principle move differently. They don't argue with critics, they outgrow them. They don't respond to doubt with emotion, they respond with progress. They let time and consistency do the talking. When results arrive, they arrive with authority. They don't ask to be believed, they don't demand respect. They command it without saying a word. Silence allows results to speak clearly without distortion. Mastery is built when no one is watching. The repetition that creates excellence is rarely glamorous. It is boring, uncomfortable, and often lonely. It happens in early mornings, late nights, and quiet moments where discipline replaces motivation. This is the phase most people avoid because there is no recognition attached to it. No applause, no validation, just effort. But mastery does not care about attention. It cares about consistency. Every skill worth developing requires thousands of repetitions. Every body worth building requires years of training. Every business worth sustaining requires countless decisions made without praise. Mastery grows in private long before it is visible in public. Silence creates the environment where repetition is possible without interference. You are free to make mistakes, adjust and improve without judgment. You are free to be a beginner without embarrassment. Working hard in silence also builds resilience. When no one is cheering, you learn to generate your own momentum. When no one is watching, you learn to rely on your standards instead of encouragement. This builds an internal strength that cannot be taken away. External validation is fragile. It disappears the moment circumstances change. Internal discipline remains. It becomes part of who you are. Discipline grows fastest in silence because there is no shortcut through approval. When no one is praising you, you must decide whether the work itself is worth doing. This forces clarity. You either commit fully or walk away. There is no pretending. Silent effort strips away performance and leaves authenticity. You are either willing to do the work or you are not. Silence also sharpens awareness. When you are not talking, you are listening. When you are not explaining, you are observing. You begin to notice patterns, weaknesses, inefficiencies. You see where your time leaks. You recognize where your effort is unfocused. This awareness allows refinement. Refinement leads to efficiency. Efficiency multiplies results. Quiet effort builds self-trust. Every day you show up without recognition, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you are reliable. You prove that you don't need external pressure to act. You prove that your word to yourself matters. This self-trust compounds into confidence that is stable and unshakable. Confidence built on applause collapses when applause stops. Confidence built on discipline endures. Many people misunderstand silence and assume it means weakness or fear. In reality, silence is confidence without noise. It is knowing where you are going so clearly that you don't need to announce it. It is being so committed to your path that outside opinions become irrelevant. Silence is not hiding, it is preparing. It is choosing timing over urgency. Quiet effort also protects your vision. Not everyone needs access to your goals. Not everyone understands your direction. Sharing too early invites doubt, projection, and limitation from people who cannot see what you see. Silence keeps your vision pure while it is still forming. It allows roots to grow before branches are exposed. Strong structures are built from the inside out. When you work hard in silence, comparison loses its grip. You stop measuring yourself against others and start measuring yourself against your own standards. This creates a healthier, more sustainable form of motivation. You are no longer racing, you are building. You are no longer distracted by what others are doing. You are focused on what you must do next. Quiet work also teaches patience. Results do not arrive on demand. They arrive when the work has been done long enough to compound. Silence trains you to respect process, to trust time, to understand that growth is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. Those who quit early usually do so because they mistake silence for stagnation. In reality, silence is often the loudest indicator that growth is happening beneath the surface. The people who eventually shock the world are often the ones no one noticed at first. They were not loud. They were not flashy. They were consistent. They were disciplined. They were focused. They chose progress over attention. While others were talking, they were practicing. While others were explaining, they were executing. Quiet effort also builds humility. Without constant praise, ego has nothing to feed on. You begin to value improvement over image, substance over style, excellence over appearance. This humility keeps you learning. It keeps you adaptable. It keeps you grounded even as results grow. When results finally appear, they feel different. They are not fragile. They are not excited. They are rooted in thousands of unseen decisions. They don't require defense because they are self-evident. This is why quiet success is often the most intimidating. It arrives without warning. It stands without explanation. Working hard in silence does not mean you never speak. It means you choose when to speak. It means you let preparation precede proclamation. It means you value depth over noise. When you do speak, your words carry weight because they are backed by experience, not intention. Silence trains you to find satisfaction in effort rather than outcome. This keeps you moving even when progress feels slow. It builds a relationship with the process itself. And when you learn to respect the process, results become inevitable. Quiet effort also strengthens emotional control. Without constant external feedback, you learn to regulate your state internally. You are less reactive, less dependent, less shaken by opinion. This emotional stability becomes a competitive advantage in a world driven by impulse. The discipline developed in silence spills into every area of life. Health improves because routines are honored. Work improves because focus deepens. Relationships improve because you are less defensive and more present. Silence teaches you to act intentionally rather than react emotionally. When you commit to working hard in silence, you stop trying to be seen and start trying to be solid. You stop chasing recognition and start chasing refinement. You stop proving and start becoming. There will be moments when doubt whispers that no one notices your effort. Silence teaches you that being noticed is not the goal. Being prepared is. Being capable is. Being aligned with your standards is. Recognition is a byproduct, not a requirement. Quiet effort also builds endurance. When you are not fueled by praise, you learn to sustain effort for longer periods. You stop needing emotional spikes to keep going. You rely on structure, routine, and commitment. This endurance allows you to outlast competition that burns out chasing attention. The strongest people do not rush visibility. They understand timing. They understand that premature exposure can weaken foundations. They wait until skill, discipline, and consistency are undeniable. Then they allow results to emerge naturally. Working in silence aligns you with truth. There is no performance, no exaggeration, no illusion, only work, only progress, only growth. This alignment creates a sense of internal peace. You know you are doing what must be done, and that knowledge is grounding. Quiet effort is a long-term strategy in a short-term world. It rejects instant gratification in favor of lasting impact. It values legacy over likes. It values depth over display. When you live this way, success stops feeling urgent and starts feeling inevitable. You are no longer rushing toward outcomes, you are building toward them. Each day adds another layer, another brick, another level of competence. Silence does not mean invisibility forever. It means invisibility by choice until readiness meets opportunity. And when that moment arrives, the contrast is powerful. The world notices not because you announced yourself, but because the work can no longer be ignored.